12 pounds of pressure. That's all you need.
That's it.
That's it.
So you what?
It was Joe Rogan was talking about being on an airplane with some guy. He was one of his guests was on an airplane with some guy, and they were just talking about stuff. And then he goes something about most interesting person you ever met. And he goes, I met a guy on an airplane that had an MS, and totally gone. And he's like, what did you do? He's like, He goes, I did everything. He goes, anything that was even remotely. If somebody said that you could go get a shaman and he'd put smoke on you, he goes, I did it. Because the only thing that worked was he got a hyperbaric chamber, and he got in that hyperbaric chamber. I don't remember how many hours a day he said he did it, but 12 pounds of pressure, and it cleared it all up.
So would an iron lung do that?
I'm guessing an iron lung. Well, I don't know because an iron lung doesn't put out that much. Maybe, yeah.
But I found some really nice ones.
But the question is, do they still function?
Yeah,
because a lot of those old ones,
these dudes. So that we found, when you want to find something, don't look on Google. When you really want to find the real shit, you use Bing as your search. Carrie's like, oh yeah, I'll find. He pulled up like 5 of them, fully functioning, fully restored, brand new iron lungs, just like the one we were looking at the surplus place. But this was 100% functional.
Because like there's a guy I saw a news story about. There is people still living from the polio days that still have the iron lungs, and that's what he would do. He would get in that iron lung and stay in there for like 11 hours, and then they could actually take him out of there and put him in a wheelchair and cruise him around, and he could do some stuff. But then they had to pop him right back in the oven.
They have, because you're laying up, looking right, your head's out. They have this fucking mirror system where you can have a book right here. You just turn your pages and it fucking refracts back where you can read.
Your head isn't in it?
No.
And they have to let you out to pee.
Because it's your lungs. That's the problem. Your lungs, there's too much pressure or too little pressure. I don't know how it works, but it's the lungs. They're using those machines to keep your lungs from collapsing on themselves.
It has a baffle.
Yeah.
So when the power would go out, they actually had manual baffles.
No, you're talking about the iron lung machine.
That's an iron lung, not a hyperbaric chamber. I don't know if you can. I think because he said, because Rogan was like 12 pounds of pressure on the head, and he said, yeah, it's fine. Because it's equal. I guess because it's equal. Like you could take my finger and do 8 pounds of pressure and crack my skull, but that's only because it's one little point.
Per square inch.
Per square inch.
Michael Jackson used to sleep in a hyperbaric chamber with O2, oxygen therapy.
And yet, look how young he died.
Somebody killed him.
Well, when you're feeding on the blood of young children, that tends to happen.
So Sean Whalen just had this dude on. Let me look it up. Child sex trafficking. The U.S. is the fucking highest consumer of fucking child rape porn.
It wouldn't surprise me because of how desensitized our porn industry is made.
And a lot of it is these dudes. Haiti is where the big one is. So there was some Mormon missionaries in I guess Haiti. Kid goes missing. So this dude's family has some money. They bring in these fucking dudes. I believe they were team guys. They start looking for this kid. They still have not found this dude's child, but they have rescued at one place. They fucking recovered over 100. They wanted to recover 100 people, 100 children. And they recovered 101 kids from the sex industry, and then they fucking did another one on their first raid. It was like they got 8 people, and they just have these dudes go. Tony Robbins actually went with this fucking crew down there. Sean Whalen went to Haiti with this crew. I'm trying, my fucking... my icons move themselves around on my phone. It's literally like somebody gets my phone in the middle of the night and rearranges it. So I never can.
Are you sleep phoning?
I don't know what the fuck's going on. Sean Whalen, Tim Ballard is his name. It's the latest episode, 45. But it's pretty fucking wild, man. Fucking crazy. And it's long hair, blue-eyed kids. These are fucking like little white kids. These aren't just indigenous population kids. They're kids that have fucking been snatched up different places around the world, including the United States. They've busted some rings in the United States. But they operate a lot because there's so many people already operating in the United States with that and our law enforcement. So when they actually hands-on to run these operations, they're taking dudes down, posing. They're all rich guys. They borrow yachts and they fly into these fucking parties, and they're like, "Hey, we want some fucking kids," and they
Just
bust them.
just look at just research the Mandingo of Cuba and John F. Kennedy. So this is nothing that has not been going. This is nothing that has not been going on. It's not a recent phenomenon.
It's all the elite.
Any oppressed economy, any low-end economy, of course, you're going to have people that are going to turn to sex for financial gain or payment, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. But Kennedy actually went down to Cuba just for that sole purpose, to be able to have sex with, I'm not saying underage kids, but they used to go down. Part of the reason why Castro was so successful is our elite used to go down to Cuba and use it as a playground for whatever they wanted. So
they're saying kids go for 2 to 3 times adult sex slaves. And then just slavery, like you were talking about, just last week on one of the videos. The slavery is fucking huge. It's literally rampant around the world. It's fucking the amount that's going on right now.
And unfortunately, the biggest slave market in the world, President Obama is responsible for. The biggest slave market in the world right now is in Libya. They're actually snatching people up in Africa. So if you wonder why you haven't heard about Somali pirates in a while, it's because the Somali pirates are no longer going after the ships because there's no financial gain there anymore. They are actually trafficking. So they are grabbing people in Africa, or people in Africa are trying to get to the European Union. And so they're using Somali pirates as traffickers. But what they're doing is they're snatching up groups of people, and then they're taking them to Libya, and they're selling them on the black market, on the slave black trade market in Libya right now. We've created one of the biggest the United States, under President Obama, has created one of the biggest slave industries in the world. And your current government, he seems to be doing a lot to stop sex trafficking in the United States, but we're not doing shit about Libya. We're letting Libya do whatever the hell it wants, and we created that mess. Not saying that, what are you going to do, send the Marines in there? That's probably the only thing you're going to be able to do, because that country is, like he said, it's a shithole, and they're doing whatever they can do to make money, and if that means selling people, they're doing it. They're using it's funny because they're using, I don't want to say it's funny, I take it back. But they're using some of the same families in Libya that were doing the slave trade in the early years are the ones that are spearheading it now. So like the same family names. And when the Spanish went to Libya and they would go to pick up slaves, they'd be getting them from his great-grandfather.
I saw something about we went after Gaddafi because he wanted to switch everything back to the gold standard, or he was trying to form his own currency or something to that effect.
Well,
or with oil, something.
The not the OPEC countries, the ousted OPEC countries. So to include Saddam Hussein, to include Gaddafi, what they were trying to do is go on a gold standard because Libya had a large amount of gold deposits that have completely disappeared. Iraq, same thing. They had large amount of gold deposits that have completely disappeared. Go ahead and look up soldiers finding gold in Iraq, and you're going to see guys standing on mountains of gold bars. All that stuff has disappeared. It's gone into somebody's bank account somewhere in the world. But he was trying to go on the gold standard, which would have, I don't know if it would have affected the dollar or not. It might have. If OPEC said, hey, yeah, we're going to go on the gold standard, then...
Because there's no gold. We have no fucking gold.
It may have affected us, and it may not have. It just depends on how you look at it.
It's supposed to be empty.
But the interesting thing is Libya has what they call sweet oil. So in Libya, they have the best crude oil probably in the world. So it's better than what they have in Iraq. It's better than what we're pumping out, even though what we're pumping out here in the United States, they have what's called sweet oil. And the European Union wanted those reserves exploited. It's kind of the reason why, and just think about how things happened. We get no oil from the Middle East. We don't get any oil from the Middle East. We get our oil from here or South America. European Union gets their oil from the Middle East. That's why they don't want sanctions on Iran. That's why they want the oil fields in Iraq open, because that's where they're getting their oil. Libya has all this sweet crude oil. It's all embargoed. You can't buy any of this sweet crude oil. So what happens? The European Union decides they want to do something about Gaddafi. They attack. Obama gets involved because, let's be realistic, what most people don't understand is the European Union, they couldn't fight themselves in a closet. They don't have the military will. They don't have the force. They don't have the aircraft. They're.
Well, what they do have is the Rothschilds.
Yeah,
who funded every fucking war.
They're worthless. So we had to actually go in there and bomb everything. So I guarantee you, if you look at Libya right now, British Petroleum, I'm sure there's probably 100 French companies. They're all operating in Libya right now, pulling that oil out. So my guess is we killed Gaddafi more for the oil than anything. And we needed to destabilize the Middle East, period. It's the reason why we're not really doing anything. So you think about Obama. When Obama was president, they said ISIS was going to create a caliphate. We didn't do anything about ISIS in Iraq, Syria, until they had already captured all that land, until they already got all the weapons that we gave the Iraqi army, until they already had most of Syria, until they already set up a state. So they had already set up a state. They were actually, the caliphate was actually paying people. Here's your dues for this month. We didn't do anything until then because they were threatening the government in Iraq. So we had to do something. We destabilized Libya. We don't do shit. The U.S. government and the U.S. State Department has done nothing to make sure that the new Libyan government stabilizes that country and keeps it from turning into a bunch of terrorists. We're not doing anything. The new Libyan government, they don't even have control over fucking 5 miles around their area. We destabilized that. Why did we do that? Well, I'll tell you why we did that. So we can continue to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on national defense.
Trillions.
So
it's trillions.
That's why we have not done anything over there, because remember, a stable planet. If tomorrow, look, truth be told, if tomorrow the President of the United States said, look, Defense Departments, let's clean this fucking mess up that we made, let's end this. I want unconditional surrenders on all fronts. Guaranteed, eventually, within like a month, there would be one dude in every one of those countries that would come out and go, yeah, we're done. We're done fucking around. We're not going to fuck around anymore. It would be over. But nobody's doing that. Why? Because destabilization guarantees that we're going to keep buying the most expensive airplanes on the planet, keep buying the most expensive tanks on the planet, keep spending money on fucking robots. Because ultimately the goal is to get rid of the soldier.
And that's all from somebody's brother. And to have that, to be able to spend that money, you have to have the boogeyman.
Yeah, you have to have the boogeyman. I mean, you have to have the boogeyman. And the Russians, even with Putin in charge. So Putin's in charge, and he is rebuilding his military, and he is spending some money on the military. Even with Putin in charge. Outside of the collectivism of the Soviet Union, the Russians are no challenge whatsoever. The European Union's not going to do very well because they don't really have militaries anymore. But conventional forces lined up facing each other, the Russians don't even have the manpower anymore. So it's not even an issue. The only thing the Russians have that keep us and them from going into a fist fight is nuclear weapons. That's it. So conventionally, it's not an issue. So if you can say, hey, we're not going to go to war with Russia because we have nukes and they have nukes. So why do we need 10,000 M1 Abrams tanks? We don't need that many tanks anymore. Because the Russians aren't going to attack us, not conventionally, because it's going to go nuclear. Even if we got in a fight in Europe right now, the ultimate problem would be it would go nuclear. So they're not going to fight us. So why spend all this money on national defense? Let's put it into education, or let's put it into I don't know, battery-powered cars, so everybody can go to work without fossil fuels.
Fix the fucking infrastructure. Build some more damn cars.
Fix the infrastructure, whatever. Why don't we do that? Well, because the reality is, at that level, when you're talking about those levels, the corruption is so bad, the corruption is so terrible, that if I took $1 billion and I took it out of defense spending and I put it in education, you wouldn't see any difference. You wouldn't see any difference. What you would see is a bunch of educators that would get raises, and most of them would be administrators. The teachers hardly ever get to touch any of that new money, so it would be administrators. They would add administrators, and they would buy things that schools don't even need. That's what would happen. Your child would not notice an increase in education. Shit, they'd probably make the class sizes bigger.
Somebody said it was trillions of dollars, not billions, on defense spending. I said, check that out. And somebody, remember when I said, how long would it take us to spend $1 billion? I said, $1 million a day, you still wouldn't touch $1 billion. And it's actually a billion is 1,000 million. So it would take 3 years.
Yeah, it'd take about 3 years. But I think that the national defense, when you say trillions of dollars, yes, but because they forecast out 5 years. But like last year was $133 billion. That's a lot of money. That is a ton of money. And they're not, I mean, for the most part, they're spending it on shit that we don't need, period.
That's how you get fucking $5,000 hammers. And
yeah, it is. It is how you get $5,000 hammers, right? Yeah.
But the reality of, now that we've told you this, don't believe anything that you heard. Go fucking, just look up any little piece that's stuck in your head. Just look it up and know it.
Yeah, look up Libya and the slave trade.
The reality is, there's nothing we can do something about the child slave trade. We can go down there.
What do we want to go on? You want to, like, ghost hunters and shit? Go down there and look for people?
Well, they really are doing it. Like,
yeah, but
the dudes fucking going.
Here's the difference, because even those guys, I get that there's some positive motivation behind all that, and that they're out down there doing that, but they're getting paid.
Yeah, somebody's paid.
Yeah, they're getting for sure. You know they're getting really paid.
For sure.
I mean, we're not hunting sex offenders on minimum wage. They're getting paid.
Yeah, they got backers behind.
Yeah. So if you want to back me to go down there and do that, I'll do it. Shit, if you want to back me to take you on a walkabout around Afghanistan, I'll do that too. But it's going to cost money. Because I'd have to leave John here for a while. And nothing we could shit. Nothing we could shit. We could take Gabby though. We could get some good footage of like SOE backpacks at the Wailing Wall.
I'm going to.
You're going to. So, anyways, I don't know how we went from all that, but yes, look up the slave trade in Libya. Look up what the State Department's currently doing in Libya. I mean, it's a totally different administration, but we're still not doing anything about what's going on over there. Why? Because we need the boogeyman. We need the next place to go. We need that next place to go. Actually, what you really should be paying attention is forget about Libya, forget about Syria. We're already spending that money. No, this weekend. So the first time ever that you've heard about this, and it's probably been a good 10 or 15 years. A group of terrorists, if you're in Syria, or freedom fighters, if you're anywhere else in the world, actually attacked a military parade in Iran. The Iranians are actually blaming us for it. They're saying that it was our fault that these people attacked the military parade. 29 people were killed and like 70 people wounded in a military parade. So that will be the story of the day, to see what the response from the Iranians will be.
And in an effort for team building,
what are we doing for team building?
Honda Ruckuses.
Honda Ruckuses, yeah.
Groms.
And Groms.
So that everybody gets to know Chef a little better. We're going to take Chef, when Chef goes grocery shopping from now on, we're all going. Okay. But we're not taking a truck. We're going to take...
So does that mean he gets a sidecar since he's getting groceries?
No, we're going to take... front backpack, back backpack. 20 dudes mob into fucking the grocery store with Chef. And we just fucking...
All right, I'm down
And,
all
we're,
for it.
and we're gonna... And just so Walmart knows what the fuck's up, wherever we go with these self-checkout bullshit, we're gonna check out 5 carts of food with fucking self-checkout.
Self-checkout. Oh,
We're just gonna block that whole we're gonna close down their whole self-checkout thing. So they have to open up more fucking aisles.
So we're going to be there a long time.
That's alright. We'll get some footage of it. We can have the manager come out and explain to us how we're in the way, even though we're buying shit. He doesn't want to open up fucking more registers.
I did see the regional manager out in the rain with an umbrella taking up garbage.
The regional manager?
That means somebody's fucking getting their ass fucking handed to them.
I think it was just to prove a point.
But he shouldn't have had to prove the point. When I walk out to the parking lot and fucking I have phone, I will literally take photos every day of the same fucking piece of trash that all those people have walked past. Eventually I'll pick it up. I did that at the gym. I fired a chick working at the gym that I go to. I literally fired her. And she stayed fired over the bullshit in the fucking gym, over all the fucking trash that was being left. What are we doing with all these?
There's just a lot of eggshells left on these.
Bro, chill out.
I don't want somebody to fucking choke to death. Or
Am
get,
I
or
right,
get,
Scully? Cup the balls. Cup the
or
balls.
get,
Go and say that.
or get a piece of eggshell caught in their esophagus.
What are you doing with all the eggs?
Deviled eggs.
I love deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs and smoked salmon.
Is that just for
Fresh
crunchiness?
What kind of weird shit you putting in there?
Nothing, man.
Sweet relish, though, right?
No.
There
Is
has to be fucking
No.
sweet relish.
No relish. Okay, sweet relish.
You gotta do something with sweet relish. I can't. It's just like tuna salad. What do you put in tuna salad?
Shredded cheese.
No fucking cheese
Parsley.
doesn't go in anything, nor does parsley. You make a really good egg salad and you dump a can of tuna in it. That's how you make tuna fish salad. No. It's this much egg salad to 1 can of tuna. It has to have mustard, mayonnaise, sweet relish.
Okay.
That's what goes in.
Okay.
And then you use mouthfeel, how wet it is. It can't be too wet, but it can't be too dry. So Honda Ruckus is in Groms.
Grom.
Down.
I want a Grom.
Did you look at any of them?
I looked at the
No, you don't want
Groms.
the buckets, man. They're easier on your knees.
They're
Probably true. Probably true.
GYC.
Yeah, but I'm not driving. I'm not.
See all the guys jumping them and shit?
No.
I'm not
Dude,
driving.
they'll nose wheelie and flip the bike around and then just fucking keep going.
On a Ruckus or a Grom?
On the Groms. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Lots of shells on there.
No, man.
Are you rinsing them? Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, but
I just put the shells in
that's
there.
like you
The shells are good for you. It's more calcium.
says wash them.
Or it's all fun and games until we're rushing somebody to the hospital.
Nay, my friend. Has that happened yet?
You'll just poop those out.
Or your shell's gonna get harder. Because you got some big old piece of eggshell stuck in somebody's esophagus.
It's good for the erection. Eat eggshells.
Eat eggshells.